We now welcome Eli Wilborn onto the YouTube channel. He is a recent JMU commit. He's played at a couple schools in his college career. Eli, thanks for taking the time, man.
What's up? How we doing?
We're good. We're good. We're excited to talk to you. And I think the first question is what stood out about JMU in the recruiting process? What made you want to be a Duke?
Personally, when I came into the coaching staff, they were all welcoming. It was genuine. And then mainly, like when I got to the campus, it was something different. I haven't really been in a school that was that big, so it mainly stood out to me seeing how many people were actually on the campus, even though the school part was winding down. So it was just a different scenery, and it looked like at JMU, it was mainly like you could see a lot of people that went to school there also is now back teaching or just being a part of the community.
Did you know about JMU before you went through this process? What was your familiarity with JMU?
I mean, a little bit. I know my AAU coach said he had new coach Preston and some of the other coaches. So he said they're good people. There's no bad talk about them or anything.
That's awesome. Tell us about your game a little bit. I know you've got the big time point and rebounding totals at St. Francis and Duquesne. Is rebounding kind of a strength of your game? Are you a guy who likes to sort of be in the post when you're playing?
I think mainly for me, my game is more rebounding, then also like facing up in the high post, defending, blocking shots, and things like that.
What'd you learn about your time at St. Francis, then to Duquesne? What'd you learn about your game through that transfer?
Uh, that it would be a little different. There was more scores on this Duquesne team, so it was mainly that I had to kind of take a back seat step, mainly here than what I was at St. Francis.
Awesome. I know Spradlin's got a lot of experience developing bigs and working with guys in the post. Did that appeal to you at all? And what was sort of the recruiting pitch to them trying to get you? Because I imagine there are a number of
Yeah, he
recruiters.
definitely showed things like that, like how he was at Morehead State. How
Yeah.
he was saying that most of their bigs, for them to be a good team, they have to have like a very significant big man or a big man piece on their team that they could go to.
Mhm.
That's mainly so that it obviously blew my eyes up because you could see that development with the bigs on his team that they all double digit scorers, rebounders, and they all most of the offense kind of ran through the bigs.
Yeah, and you were the first big added in this transfer class. I mean, it was a lot of guards and a lot of players not being added through the first couple of weeks
Mm,
of the transfer
yeah.
portal. Why'd you decide to become the first big that was publicly announced as part of Spradlin's 2025 class?
Just when I got there, it was kind of shown that like they really wanted me. It wasn't more that like they were always constantly calling me, making sure I was wanted there. And then when I got onto campus, everything just came together, and it felt like it was the best situation.
Yeah, what's that like when they don't have a lot of right the transfer portal? So many teams are having moving pieces and things like that. When they're talking about how you fit in, they didn't really have much of a team when they're talking about how you fit in. What's it like to kind of go through that when they're talking about maybe how it might work, even though you don't know quite yet who's going to be alongside?
Yeah, it was kind of mainly like because when I went to campus, I had talked to obviously my name's Elijah. I talked to the other Elijah, so he was kind of like, "Yeah, it's a great spot." He said it showed like he showed told me how like they give you more confidence than you have in yourself most times.
Mhm.
So look, like talking to other players, it's like it's a good spot. It's a winning culture, and it's more. I want to be a part of something like that.
How did this transfer process differ from your last one?
Uh, it was a little different. Not as many schools hitting me up. Some of the same schools hitting me up from St. Francis, but it was a little slower. Not as many schools, but it was still some good schools. But James Madison stuck out the most to me.
Awesome. What is it about the rebounding aspect of basketball that you're really good at, or what makes you a good rebounder? I know some guys are like high motor, some guys are just good at finding the ball. What makes you such a lethal
Uh,
rebounder?
Personally, some coaches say I just have a quick second jump. So when I hit the floor the first time, I'm able to get up faster the second time.
Mhm.
It's mainly that, and then most times I knew when I was younger, I always just like had a knack for just going to get the ball most time. So it's mainly that I'm able to jump high. So just me being able to have those and then add it and bring everything else together, it all works out in the end.
Have you always been a big man? Like growing up, have you always been like the bigger kid on the floor?
Yeah, I've always been the tallest, so most times yeah, you just threw me into that position because of my height for real.
I know I think you had like close to 50 blocks at St. Francis. You also had 25 steals. Preston Spradlin loves a
Yeah,
good defense. He was probably getting a little frustrated last year. They're a little more offensive minded at times. But
sure.
what's it like with your game? I guess does defense always come naturally to you? I know there are some guys who they like to score and it maybe they
Uh,
step off.
when I say it comes naturally, I wouldn't say it comes naturally. It's more really I just know how to move my feet. I guess like I've always worked on like lateral movement and things like that because I did play football when I was younger.
Mhm.
So obviously having that growing up, it kind of just worked out on the basketball court too.
What position did you play in football?
I play receiver.
Might need that with JMU. I add to the receiver room over there. But looking at kind of the NBA and things like that, who do you is there a player in the NBA or used to be in the NBA that you model your game after?
I wouldn't really say it's a player I model my game after. I know my old coach at St. Francis said like you should watch Bam out of Ball clips because like you guys got the same thing like lob threat and being able to guard multiple positions as a taller guy.
I think you had 6 3-point attempts at St. Francis, none at Duquesne. Is that something you've tried to add to your game, or are you somebody you mentioned that face up post game? Are you just more comfortable inside the
Uh, I tried to add it a little bit, but mainly I just figured out here that I really didn't. I wasn't really that pressed to be able to shoot a shot because that wasn't my role. It was mainly for me to be a here was finish on on the offensive side of the ball, get rebounds, block shots, and just be a great defender for my team, just be a better team player. So I wasn't really as focused on the shooting aspect of my game. But now this year, I talked to Coach Dom and everyone. They said that's something you have to add because it makes teams have to step out on you, and it opens up the game for everybody else on the court.
What can JMU fans expect from you when you suit up and you're running through the tunnel the first time at the AUBC?
Uh, my Instagram name is Showtime, so like Showtime. Just a lot of energy, great team player. Just it's a show for real. That's mainly it.
I might be stealing a question here from Bennett, but he always likes to ask, do you prefer like a big dunk, an alley oop, or a big three, an and one, that type of thing? You mentioned earlier you're a lob threat. So what's your favorite play? What's your favorite highlight reel type of play that you do?
Uh, I would probably say a lob personally. I feel like that gets everybody going. Just watching your teammates catch a lob, it just brings energy to the whole arena. Personally,
Do you have you had an opportunity to talk with any of the other transfers like Paul Lewis, Paul Jones, some of the guards that might be throwing you
uh,
those lobs?
not yet. I talked to which wasn't Paul Lewis. I think it was Paul Jones. We were on the visit together, so we talked a little bit. Not nothing really crazy though.
How confusing will it be to have two potential guards on the court at the same time, both named Paul?
It's gonna be very confusing, but I'm gonna have to figure it out some way somehow. Because
I know you.
I know Paul Jones left-handed and Paul Lewis right, so I'm gonna have to say Paul left or right. I don't know, you know.
You got the two Pauls. You're talking to a different Eli in your visit. I know it's
Yeah.
a lot of the same names. I do want to throw a tweak to the question Jack was asking though for block shots. I know coaches love when they get a block shot that like stays in play and can lead to transition. But as a fan, I love it when a guy blocks it and like puts it in the fourth row. Do you have a preference of like a block that leads to transition or one that you're putting, 3 rows?
I would, prob- I would probably say lead a transition. I feel like that's just better. You get a block, say a teammate goes to gets a dunk. It just brings so much energy around everybody.
That's a
That's
good
fair.
teammate answer. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, it
teammate
is.
answer.
Yeah, I just like the stare down with the ball coming in the 3 rows deep.
Bennett would also get a tech in a game, probably, most
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah, they give out text too easily now, though, I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got anything else, Jack?
I'm all good. Yeah, Bennett, you anything?
No, awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to watching you in purple and gold.
Yes, sir.